Spotter, your favourite stars caught on camera.
Hello, I'm Paul Barry. Welcome to Media Watch. And it's not just the stars caught on camera by Women's Day, but their children too, as radio personality Chrissy Swan discovered when she treated her brood to burgers.
It's McHappy Day. These guys must have been doing their chores.
Media Watch has blurred the children's faces and their names because while radio stars might be fair game, their kids are most definitely not. Women's Day made no attempt to protect their privacy, and nor, of course, did the Daily Mail.
Lunch on the go! Chrissy Swan takes her kids to McDonald's in Melbourne as her hit radio show tops the ratings.
Never one for restraint when excess will do, the online tabloid ran photo after photo after photo, and all in the service of shaming a mother, making life for a couple of kids in the playground even tougher, and, of course, racking up those clicks, with pics that were actually weeks old. Now, remember, this is from the same publication that was slammed by the public over its infamous Samantha Armitage granny pants story, and then claimed to apologise. And it's the same Daily Mail whose intrusive photographs of another TV presenter, Osher Günsberg, and his Bali belly on holiday in Indonesia were roundly condemned by the Press Council only last week.
Given the fairly remote location, the care exercised by the complainant in the past to not be photographed shirtless, his lack of alternatives in the circumstances, and the covert nature of the photographs, he retained a reasonable expectation of privacy, which was intruded upon by the photographs and the references to Bali belly.
So, did the Daily Mail take those Bali belly photos off the net and apologise? Well, no, because the Daily Mail's only punishment was a requirement to post this link on the story.
Note, the Press Council upheld a complaint about this material. Read the full adjudication here.
Even if readers do click to the judgment, they'll have to wade through 1,100 words of legalistic argument before getting to those findings, which is a bit like a slap with a wet lettuce. The Press Council tells us it doesn't want the power to censor and that Osher Günsberg is very happy with the result. Meanwhile, the Mail continues on its merry way, as no doubt it will do after the latest complaint, for Chrissy Swan, is resolved in around 6 months' time. But now, to the Great Barrier Reef, and an important story that some in the media have ignored. As viewers of Channel 9's 60 Minutes discovered last night in a powerful and moving report, the reef is being hit by a dramatic new wave of coral bleaching.
Charlie has brought me here to Pixie Reef, an ironic name for a place that's in such a sorry state. All around us is bleached and dying coral, right in the heart of the Great Barrier Reef.
The latest dire threat to the reef has been widely reported in the media since February, when a rash of headlines echoed a grim official warning from the Great Barrier Reef Marine Park Authority.
Great Barrier Reef Authority warns of widespread bleaching again this year.
2 weeks later, the threat level was raised further after official surveys revealed much greater damage than feared. And once again came a flurry of headlines, with the British tabloids, American broadsheets, and Canadian TV now getting in on the act, along with many others. Then, just days ago, the respected science magazine Nature ran the story on its cover, publishing the results of a worldwide study led by scientists from Queensland's James Cook University, which warned that damage to the barrier reef caused by climate change could be fatal. And for the third time in a month, the media swung into action.
Our natural wonder in peril. This sobering view confirming what scientists feared: hundreds of square kilometres of coral dead or dying.
For the second consecutive year, we have a mass coral bleaching event.
An event previously unheard of until 20 years ago.
And once again, it made waves around the world. In the New York Times, the Chicago Tribune, the BBC, and more, with the message that the reef could only be saved if climate change is halted. But one place you couldn't read any of this was the Australian newspaper, which has had no mention at all in its print edition. And how amazing is that? Here is arguably the most important environmental story in Australia, and a tourism asset that's worth billions of dollars a year. Yet the Oz does not consider it worth reporting. except in a couple of clips online. Even more remarkable, the Australian's environment editor, Graham Lloyd, who describes himself as
a fearless reporter of all sides of the environment debate,
has also had absolutely nothing to say. Extraordinary, isn't it? In fact, Lloyd's been silent on coral bleaching since mid-last year, when he reported that scientists had exaggerated the problem, that it wasn't too bad, and that the scientific world was divided. Media Watch ripped into that article at the time because Lloyd relied heavily to make his case on a bird migration specialist from California called Jim Steele, who was not an expert on coral reefs, or on oceans, or on global warming. Lloyd hit back in The Australian, accusing us of bleaching the facts and
scientific bullying to squash discussion of genuine concerns about the Great Barrier Reef.
He also said he was not ignoring coral bleaching, but that he preferred to rely on
the more sober analysis of the Great Barrier Reef Marine Park Authority,
which, of course, is the authority behind all this year's warnings. So now Graham Lloyd is ignoring them too, as well as an army of experts like Professor Charlie Veron, the so-called godfather of coral, now sounding the alarm.
A lot of people say, oh, it's just a normal, natural thing. There's nothing normal, natural about this. 20 years ago, this would have been a fabulous place. It was a fabulous place. It was just teeming with life. And now it's teeming with death.
So why are Graham Lloyd and The Australian so busy looking the other way on such a tragic and important story? The Australian declined to explain, but our guess is it just doesn't fit their narrative. But now let's have some fun and tune into FM radio, where Nova has been giving away concert tickets to Adele, who was front page news recently all around the country, as you may have noticed. So who was Nova's lucky winner when the pop star sang in Sydney?
Let's get somebody sorted for some ANZ Stadium tickets for Adele. Live in Sydney. Live in Little Bay. Hello, Brad.
Hey, how are you?
I'm well. How are you today? You lapping up that Sydney sunshine?
I am super excited. I'm lapping it up. I'll be lapping it up more if I've got these tickets.
Brad, consider it our gift to you. You've got your tickets. You're going as Nova's guest to Adele Live.
Brad, who is a real person, told Media Watch he went to the concert and he loved it. So, who won the tickets down in Melbourne? Here's Nova 100 just a few moments later.
Right, let's sort somebody out for some Etihad Stadium tickets for Adele Live. Hello, Brad Plockhoy.
Hey, how are you?
I'm well. It's a hot one today. You lapping up that Melbourne sunshine?
I am super excited. I'm lapping it up. I'll be lapping it up more if I've got these tickets.
Brad, consider it our gift to you. You've got your tickets. You're going as Nova's guest to Adele Live.
How about that? Brad won both competitions. And miraculously, he was lapping up that sunshine in two places at once, 900 kilometres apart. Clever, eh? And he's not the only one who can teleport between cities.
In Kings Langley, Cheryl Thasson.
Hello, how you going? I'm so excited.
I am going well, and you're going to the first ever Adele gig in Sydney.
Whoopee! And guess what? Moments later, Cheryl, who's also a real person, miraculously won the Melbourne tickets too.
It's Greg Burns here. So Adele is coming soon to Melbourne. Cheryl Thasson.
Hello, how you going? I'm so excited.
I'm going well, and you're going to Etihad Stadium.
So, did Cheryl and Brad really win both sets of tickets? No, they did not. It's a great big cheat to deceive the audience into thinking there are more winners than there really are. Naughty, eh? So how does it work? Well, Nova's morning and afternoon programmes are made in Sydney but broadcast in Melbourne too. And winners in each city are also made to double up. Nova's host makes just one phone call but cuts in a new fake question to change the Melbourne or the Sydney reference. And they do it all the time, and not just with tickets. Nova also does it with $1,000 cash prizes.
Let's do this, Melbourne. That's what we love doing, Melbourne. Giving away free cash right across your workday. Hey, Jake, how's your Wednesday, bud?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. So far, so good. Can't complain.
What do you do for a job?
I'm a boilermaker.
Fantastic, mate. You make $1,000 just like that, right? Bam!
You're kidding, aren't you?
Moments earlier, Jake was laughing in Sydney too, which is where he actually lives, as he pocketed another $1,000.
Giving away all this free money right across your workday all week. You're sharing 50k, Sydney. Hey, Jake, all good in Picton?
Yeah, good, mate. Good so far, so good. Can't complain.
What do you do for a job?
I'm a boiler maker.
Fantastic, mate. You make $1,000 just like that, right? Bam!
You're kidding, aren't you?
So, did Jake win twice? No, it's a lie again. So, what does Nova have to say about faking half its winners and misleading its audience? When we rang them, they were, well, speechless. But today they found their voice and told us that
Any suggestion of a duplication of winners is completely false and baseless.
and that
Nova is careful to comply with its broadcasting and consumer law obligations.
So, is Nova breaking any rules? Amazingly, no one's sure. The radio watchdog, the ACMA, scratched its head and said it couldn't say. The competition watchdog, the ACCC, told us that businesses
must not make false or misleading claims or statements.
but couldn't say if Nova was breaking any law. And Liquor and Gaming New South Wales also didn't know, but told Media Watch it would be
reviewing the radio station's promotion to win $1,000 to see if it complies with the New South Wales Lotteries and Art Unions Act. The Act prohibits promotions that are false, misleading or deceptive.
well, if that is the competition, Nova has surely won it, because we think what they're doing is downright dishonest. And finally, while we're on the subject of competitions, let's award a prize to the Australian's media editor Darren Davidson, who's been making exclusive predictions about the ABC for the last 2 years or so, and getting them, well, let's not spoil the end. Number one was back in 2014, when Dazza told readers of his media diary,
Sky News boss tipped to our Mark Scott as ABC chief.
That didn't happen, so that's 0 out of 1. A year later, he had another shot, labelling it exclusive.
British executive Jay Hunt tipped for top ABC job.
Oh dear, 0 out of 2. Michelle Guthrie got the job. So now Davidson speculated on what she might do with it and made this exclusive prediction.
ABC shake-up. Guthrie to push for content director.
Oh dear, bum steer again. She didn't push for a content director and the ABC didn't get one. 0 out of 3. But this month, Davidson was back with another confident prediction on who would be the new chairman of the ABC board.
Law firm boss Danny Gilbert in running for ABC chair.
And how did that go? Well, the appointment was announced last week and it went to, wait for it,
Justin Milne confirmed as new ABC chairman.
So that is 0 out of 4 for the Australian's media editor. We can only hope he's doing better in the Aussies footy tipping competition. And you can read more about tonight's stories on our Facebook page or our website, where you can read a statement from the Press Council and Nova and get a transcript of the show. You can also catch up with us on iView and contact me or Media Watch on Twitter. And don't miss Media Bites every Thursday on Facebook, Twitter and our website, and also on iView. But for now, until next week, that's all from us. Goodbye.